Hey everyone, and welcome back for another design cut session. I am thrilled to welcome my friend Claudia Riveros on. So welcome, Claudia.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Claudia, what are you going to be teaching the design cuts community today?
So today we're going to be working on creating your own botanical stamp brushes. But you're going to see later on that making the stamp brush itself is pretty easy. So I wanted to give some extra since we're in December and stuff. And we're going to also be doing a small tutorial on how to draw a flower and turning this flower into a stamp.
Incredible. Well, hopefully everyone has iPads at the ready to learn from today's session, but I think it should be a really fun session. Without further ado, over to the maestro, over to Claudia to do your thing.
Thank you. So I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be working on creating a stamp brush. So the first thing we need to do is create a new canvas inside Procreate. Now, it's important that this canvas is squared. Later, I'll let you know why. But as for now, let's create a canvas that's 3000 pixels times 1000 pixels. Here we go. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm going to be working on how to draw lily. And to do that, it's always good to have references of the things that you want to learn how to draw. Now, if you have Procreate 5X, which luckily I do, there's this section in the canvas where you can turn on a reference. And now we're going to click on image, import an image, and we're going to select the reference image that I found for this session. Okay, perfect. Now, let's begin with drawing the lily. For this, I'm going to be using my trusty pencil from the graphite and charcoal brush set. Okay, we're going to start by creating a circle. Now, I do this because I like to know the area that my illustration will have. You know, sometimes you're going to create an illustration and then you make like a huge head and a big chest and then there's no room for the legs, like the classic happy birthday problem. So here, if you create a circle, then you know where your illustration will be. That's like a small tip that I always like to do at the beginning of an illustration. After we have the area that our illustration will be having, so now we're going to work on the petals of the flower. Now, when you want to learn how to draw something, the most important thing is that you find references and that you really look at it. So here we can see that a lily has 6 petals, right? 3 that are closer to us and 3 that are farther away from us.
Yes.
So I'm going to be making the lines of action of the 3 petals that are closer to us. So from here, I'm just going to go very roughly. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just so we know, have an idea of where these petals are going to be going.
Okay. And for the record, anyone that is just discovering Claudia now, she's an incredible illustrator. Like you gotta see her work, but she's a really, really incredible artist.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me that you say that. now we're going to be working. Thank you. Now we're going to be working on the 3 petals that are farther from us. So we're going to do the same. Again, very softly. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just so we have an idea of where the petals are going to be. So from here, we're going to get very technical. And we're going to see these thingies that are here with the polliness. And we're going to do the same. So from the center, I can see that they go up like here. And there's like 3 little thingies here. So here you can see.
If I could remember science class at school, I could remember what that's called, but I've forgotten now.
Very technical language, yes, from biology. Thingies.
I think it begins with S. So brownie points if anyone in the comments can tell us what the pointy thing is in the flower.
I'm sure that the brownie points is how they're called. So from here we're gonna now do the
stamen. That's it.
So here we go. There you have a rough sketch of where your flower is gonna be. Now from here we're gonna make a new layer on top of this one, and I'm gonna make this small. Now with the same pencil, we're gonna roughly start drawing the the pencil. We're gonna start drawing the area that the petal has. Again, this really doesn't need to be perfect. Don't worry about hitting the thingies here. We can erase everything because we're doing digital, so it's not a problem. So very roughly, we're gonna, here we go. And again, we're gonna be working on the 3 petals that are closer to us first. So here, Here we go. And now here you can see there's like a small fold. This goes down. Here we go. Just follow the reference. Again, it really doesn't need to be perfect. Every flower is different. So the idea is just to have fun. Here we go. You're still with me?
I am, yeah. You're making it look easy now.
Awesome. It is pretty easy. The idea is just to follow the reference image and just have fun, you know. It really doesn't need to be exactly the same, because at the end of the day, once we add the details and stuff, it's going to look like a realistic, quote unquote, realistic flower. Because every flower is different. So it really doesn't matter that, you know, it's not exactly as in the reference image. So here we go. It's perfect. And now we're going to be working on the 3 ones that are farther from us. So here we go. This. Here we go. And now here. Now, a good tip for this part from the days where I was drawing without the iPad is to see these areas that are here. So the areas that are in between the petals, and check the reference image. So if they're more or less similar, then it's perfect. You see here, for instance, there we go. Also, another good thing is to make lines to make sure that the angles are correct. So here, for instance, I can push this petal a little bit back like this. And now the last one here. Here we go. And here we go. Okay, perfect. That's the rough sketch of where the flower is gonna go. Now this, we're gonna lower the opacity and we're gonna make a layer on top. Again, with the trusted pencil, we're gonna be working now on the thingies. So zoom in the reference image. And again, just very loosely follow the reference. I was saying before that I might be going a little bit fast. I hope you guys can follow along, but if you cannot, then you shouldn't worry, because at the end of the session, you're gonna get an ebook that has all the steps of all the things that I'm doing. So you can just have a cup of tea and channel Bob Ross and draw while you relax, not following along. But yeah.
Everyone loves Bob Ross. What a legend.
Absolutely, he's the man. Okay, so now that we finished these thingies here, we are going to go to the first image here. And with the eraser, we're just gonna go. I'm gonna also turn off the first sketch so it's a little bit cleaner. So in the second layer where we work on the petals, with the eraser, we're just gonna go over the areas where these two are crashing. So we clean it up, you see? Here we go. Now I'm just gonna move it a little bit more here. Oh. And I'll erase here. Okay, perfect. So now I'll join these 2 layers and I'm gonna make a new layer. On this new layer, I'm gonna work on, actually, just a second. I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna raise the opacity of both of them so they're maxed, and then I'm gonna join them. I'm gonna make a new layer, and on this layer, we're gonna work on the folds of the flower. Again, this is just like your sketch, sort of say, so it really doesn't matter that you have, for instance, this line here, just to map out where the flower is gonna go. So here we go. We're also gonna be mapping out where this green is in the flower. Here it is. Okay. Perfect. So everyone with me here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks great.
Awesome. So thank you. So now I'll just merge the layers and I'll lower the opacity. And now here's where we start creating an illustration that's gonna work as a stamp brush. On top of this, we're gonna make a new layer, and I'm gonna change to my, from the hand drawing toolkit, I'm gonna change to my Inkit brush. This also you got. I like making my stamp brushes with this brush because it has a lot of variety of line, so it's really pressure sensitive. And it almost feels like working with a pencil brush for those of you who also work on paper, not only on digital. So I really like it because of that. And now with this brush, we're just going to start inking our sketch, making sure that we're on the new layer. Also, before we do that, it's important that you make sure that you chose the blackest possible black, so here. Okay? Perfect. So now we're going to start basically inking our drawing. And the idea is to change the weight of the line. So where there's light, you do like this, very, very light. And then where there's shadow, you just press a little bit harder. And here is one of those times in which I'm going to really speed up a little bit, so we have time to show everything. So here we're just going to, again, just work on top of everything. It really doesn't matter. Afterwards, we can just make room for these thingies in the center. Here we go.
I've really liked your work for a long time, Claudia, so it's great to see it happen live.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. So here again, you can see here in the center, there's like a small, again, thingies like this, you see? So we're just gonna make these small curves there. And I'm gonna go ahead with this line again. There we go. Here, we're gonna pressure here. Okay. Now that these 3 main petals are inked, we're gonna ink the 3 ones that are farther from us. And the same method. So we're gonna press really hard on the areas that there's more shadow. So here, for instance, and then lighter in the areas that are lighter. So here we go. The whole point is just to have fun. So it really does not matter that it's not exactly as the reference, like I said before. So here we go. And here we have like the main skeleton then of our flower. We're just gonna make this one line here, here, and here. Now, same as we did before, I'm just gonna lower the opacity of this one, make a new layer, and now ink the things that are in the center. Again. Now, just gonna go to the layer where the ink is, and we're gonna use the same brush to do that. Just keep pressing the eraser, and then you're gonna erase with the same brush you're using as a pencil. So like this, I'm gonna erase here, 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 here. Okay. Now I'm just gonna turn off this sketch, and I'm gonna raise the opacity of the ink part. And here we go. So
wow, that's cool.
Awesome. Now we're gonna merge them. And now that we have this, we're gonna make a new layer, and we're gonna start working on details and unfold. So here, again, just looking at your reference image, you can see, for instance, here, there's like a fold here. You can see, I'm just gonna go a little bit faster because we lost a little bit of time there. So I want to make sure that I can show you guys how to make the stamp here.
By the way, isn't the reference panel so useful?
It's awesome. Yeah, I really like it. Before, I also had a smaller iPad, so then it just took half of my screen before having this reference. But now it's just there, and it's awesome. We're gonna be making now like this sort of lines on the areas that you see shadows on the reference. So just go like this, creating lines, just to create a little bit of volume. So like this. And then again, here you can see the green part of the petal. And just add detail like this, you see? Okay. And we're gonna do this on all the petals. I'm sorry if I'm going a little bit fast.
No, it's great. I think these lines add so much more dynamism and shape to it.
Yeah, they add it's like shading a little bit. It's like doing how's it called, cross hatching.
I love cross hatching. That was my whole college art. Lots of cross hatching.
That's awesome. So again, here on the shadow areas, just gonna add And I'm gonna go very fast here, but on this area, you know, you can just have fun. Here, I'm gonna remake them. Just take your time and yeah, don't worry about it. Just mark the shadows here. There we go. This. Now from here. And also on this one. Here we go. And on the part behind. Okay, awesome. So now you're gonna start making lines that are kind of following the shape of the petals. So like this, so to create like this sort of folds. What I like to do also,
yeah, I like that.
yeah, what I like to do is to create a line and then like lift my pencil and create a dot, kind of like that. I feel like that adds a lot of, I don't know, graphic to it. I'm gonna make more lines here, just a second. Here, and now we're gonna make the folds here like this, and here you can see maybe add a little bit more here and here. No, another one here.
That's such a simple technique, but it does have a real graphical look to it.
Yeah, and I like to use it for the stems because it just like it allows you to create any sort of color you want, so you can use it later as a reference, and then you know just color on top of it. You know where the area, where the shadow should go, and yeah, so like this. And also at the ends, we're gonna add a little bit of cross-hatching like this, and here in this sort of areas, the part that's behind. Here we go. This. Okay. Now you can see that in the edges of the petals, there's like a difference between the white and the pink. So using like very broken lines, we're just gonna mark this so you can know that this is here. Very fast. Here we go. Perfect.
I can't believe how quickly you're doing this. It's kind of impressive.
It's just like this cross hatching, it really adds a lot. It really feels like you took a lot of time. Of course, when I'm making my own stamp brushes, I take, I don't know, like maybe 30-40 minutes each. But you know, you can also go pretty fast. It's just that some of the brushes, stamp brushes I make are like 111 illustrations, and then you know, yeah, kind of gets like fast after some time. But it's just practice. And here we go. I like this so far. So now I'm gonna be doing the same but in the center, and I'm gonna make a new layer. And I'm just gonna add a little bit. It really doesn't need to be so much, just a little bit, so it doesn't feel out of place from the rest of the illustration. So here we go. Here you can see a center. I'm also gonna add a little bit of a thicker line here, just to make it a little bit more separate. And yeah. Add some spots here, some dots. And here we go. Okay, so I'm happy with how this is looking. And I'm gonna merge the 3 layers together. Now, the last thing that we have to do now on our illustration is the freckles that the lily has. So I'm gonna make a new layer. And again, with the same brush, I'm just gonna start marking this freckles. And again, it's the same. You see, I just pressure a lot, and then I just break the line.
Oh, that's a cool technique.
Thank you. And I just add the freckles like this. Here we go. You can take later on after the session, you can take a lot of time, have fun, put on music, have some tea, and do it, you know, a little bit more relaxed. But for now, we're just trying to mark detail fast so we can move to. So we're gonna continue to add the freckles. And there we have our illustration. Of course,
Beautiful.
you know.
I love the detail.
Thank you. Of course, you can take a little bit longer to, you know, finesse everything and stuff, but for now, I think we're good with this. Yeah. I'm gonna merge the layers, and I'm gonna now turn off the reference because we don't need it anymore. And now we're gonna move on to the stamp brush making part of the session. So for us to make a stamp brush, now all we need to do is take this illustration and hit share, JPEG, and we're gonna save it. I like saving it to files. You can also save it to images, but I like saving it to files. So we're gonna click Files on my iPad. Here we go. I have a Procreate folder, so I hit it here on my Procreate folder and save. And there we go. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. And now we're gonna go to the brush menu here. On top of all the brushes, you have this plus sign. You click this plus sign, and we're just gonna call this oh, it's not taking it away. Take it away. Okay, here, this sign. Perfect. Now,
I love that feature. It's so smart.
Yeah, right. I love it as well. It's super nice to just write. So from here, we're gonna hit the plus sign that's on the top right corner here, and here's our new brush. Now, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the shape menu, and we're gonna edit the shape. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know how brushes work, but they're mainly just a shape and a grain to fill it. So a shape is basically this. You can see it's a circle. So if I just hit like this, it's a circle, right? And the grain is what fills it. So what we need to do to create a stamp brush is just change the shape. So we're gonna go to Edit, and we're gonna import a file. And here I have already the Procreate folder open. So we're gonna just click there. And there you have your illustration. Now, for it to work as a stamp, you can see that this illustration here has a white background, but it needs to have a black background. So with 2 fingers, you're gonna hit the, like inside the canvas, and it's gonna change to black, you see? So if you just, here you go, and there you go. And that's done. So now that's the shape of the brush. And now we're gonna go through each of these ones, and we're gonna change the things we need. So on the stroke path menu, I like changing the spacing to 45. Yeah, to 45. The rest, I leave the same. And now we're gonna go to taper. And here, I don't change anything. I leave it as it is. Usually when you make a new brush, this is how it looks. This is how I leave it. In shape, we just change the shape. We don't need to change anything else in this menu. It should look like this. Now in grain, the grain should be this white solid shape. If it's not, you can just click on Edit, and then you can import from source library, and you choose whichever you want, right? In this case, is the blank. That's what we need. And then in this menu, you don't need to change anything else. Yeah. In rendering, you don't need to change anything. In web mix, you don't need to change anything. In color dynamics, it's still the same. Dynamics, the same. And now on Apple Pencil, here we need to change something important. Here you can see that the opacity is at max. This means that your stamp brush, oh, just a second, I'm making a layer. Your stamp brush, the opacity of your stamp will be determined by how strong you press it. That's not how a stamp works. So I like to change this. I'm gonna go back here in the Apple Pencil to none. Now this means that it doesn't matter how strong I push my Apple Pencil into the screen, it will always be the same as a stamp.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so after this is done, we're gonna go to properties. And here we're gonna change a few things. So the first thing I like changing is use stamp preview, because then on the brush panel, you can see the preview. You don't see this sort of like line thing where you cannot see which illustration it is. You just see like one like that, and I like that. So we turn this one here on. Orient to screen, we turn off. The preview, I like to change to 7%. The smudge, I change to 45%. The maximum size, I change to max. And the minimum size, I change to 25%. Here we go. And the maximum opacity stays max, and minimum opacity stays minimum. Now from here, we go to about this brush. And here you can rename your brush, sign it, and yeah, what we're gonna do for now is just rename our brush. I'm just gonna call it Lee. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I'm happy with my brush. So yeah, perfect, it works.
Beautiful, nice and sharp.
Perfect. And once you're sure that your brush is working perfectly, I would recommend also signing it and write down that you were the one who made it. Because especially if you want to eventually sell your brushes online. There's some people that like to take your brushes and claim that they made them, and that's not nice. So one way you can prevent
Bad
that
people. We
Yes.
don't like those people, do we, Claudia?
No, no, no. So if you sign your brush now, no one can change the fact that you made it, and there's some things that you can't change from your brush. So I like always signing my brushes. It's always better to be safe than sorry. And yeah, we're here to teach you to look both ways before crossing the road and sign your brushes. So here I'm gonna just choose the same image, and then I'm gonna here write that I made it. Oh, now it doesn't want to work like this, but okay. Riveros Illustration. Here we go. And I'm gonna sign it, but just a second. And there you go. This is now my brush. No one can change the fact that I cannot change this. You see, it's no longer something you can edit. So it's Amazing. Your brush. And there you have it. That's how you make an illustration and then turn it into a stamp brush.
That was so great.
Yeah. Perfect.
I love it. And I love that you signed it. And that was a very cute little signature as well.
Thank you. It's my small cat.
Great to see you.
Awesome. It was super nice to see you as well.
All right. Take care. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye, guys. It was super nice to see you.
Bye.